You want something to be scared about? You've come to the right place. Your old buddy Josh. They're going to bring you and this is actually true. You should be incredibly terrified of this. And that's why what Trump is doing on the trade, the tariff tension is wonderful. So we're going to look at this right here from the Department of Energy. Large power transformers in the electric grid. And I'm telling you right now, if you use electricity, and I guarantee you do, this is the most critical, important thing you got to understand, without question. So we're going to go to North America's electricity infrastructure represents more than $1 trillion in U.S. dollars. This is written in 2012, by the way. And is one of the most advanced and reliable systems in the world. The U.S. bulk grid consists of 360,000 miles of transmission lines, including approximately 180,000 miles of high voltage lines, connecting to over 6,000 power plants. Power transformers are a critical component of the transmission system because they adjust the electric voltage to a suitable level on each segment of the power transition from generation to the end user. In other words, a power transformer steps up the voltage at the generation for efficient long haul, and then they step it down to you. All right, so then right here. And then a step down for distribution at the level used by consumers, which you got your little your outlet there. That's 120 volts. So let me show you what this looks like. So here's a generation station where they're generating electricity off of biomass, photovoltaic solar panels, and wind turbines. They're not, but so stupid. All right, and then what they do is they step up the voltage so that we can have high voltage lines that efficiently move the electricity from point A across the 360,000 miles of transmission line. So they stepped up because we want to move that efficiency. Massive, massive wires, if you will. And then what happens is you hit a substation where it steps it down so it can go into your house. You can plug your TV into it, your hair dryer and whatnot. And you can see right here, you see step up, the transmission customer right there. All right, steps down, so you got sub-transmission customer, primary customer, and then ultimately you. All right, so transformers are a critical component of the U.S. industry for electricity, and electricity is everything we have in the United States. We don't have electricity, our butts are cooked. A large power transformer is a large custom-built piece of equipment that is critical of the bulk transmission grid. Because they are very expensive and tailored to customer specifications, they are usually neither interchangeable with each other nor produced for extensive spare parts or inventories. According to an industry source, approximately 1.3 transformers are produced for every transformer designed. And you can see how they're built right here. Very interesting stuff. Are you hearing that? They don't have a lot of spare inventories. In this report, the large power transformer is broadly used to describe a power transformer with a maximum nameplate rating of 100 megavolt amperes, 100 MVA, or higher unless otherwise noted. All right, so let's keep going. I thought this was very interesting. The workshop considered 4 main risk scenarios concerning the electricity subsector. A physical attack on electricity system equipment. Remember they had that some substations, I think in North Carolina, were shot up. I'm actually surprised that doesn't happen more, actually, but a coordinated cyber attack, and I think they did that on some. Isn't Puerto Rico still under? They don't have electricity right now. I don't know what's going on. A severe geomagnetic disturbance, and then this kind of cracked me up. A potential widespread pandemic influenza that resulted in the loss of critical personnel. A widespread pandemic. Interesting. I just thought that was kind of interesting. This was written in 2012. Electricity subsector has long embraced resilience as part of the continuity of operations. All right. Although reliability and redundancy are built into the system, the electricity industry identified that the limited domestic manufacture capacity of high voltage power transformers could present a potential supply concern in the event that many LPTs failed simultaneously. LPTs are special ordered machineries that require highly skilled workforces and state-of-the-art facilities. Installation of LPTs entails not only significant capital expenditures, but also a long lead time due to intricate manufacturing processes, including securing raw materials. Failure to replace LPTs could present potential concerns, including mounting maintenance costs and unexpected power failure. So the cost and pricing vary by manufacturer and by size. An LPT can cost millions of dollars and weigh between approximately 100 and 400 tons. Procurement and manufacturing of LPTs is a complex process that requires pre-qualification of manufacturers, a competitive bidding process, the purchase of raw materials. Two raw materials, copper and electric steel, account for over 50% of the total cost of an LPT. Electric, steel, and copper account for over 50% of the total cost of LPTs. I hope we're going to hit you hard with something in just a second. The United States is one of the largest markets for power transformers, all right? But the average age of LPTs in the United States is approximately 40 years old, with 70% being 25 years or older. Scary. Since the late 1990s, the U.S. has experienced an increased demand for LPTs. However, the growing need, the U.S. has a limited domestic capacity to produce them. In 2010, 6 power transformer manufacturing existed in the United States, and altogether, they met 15% of the nation's demand for power transformers. You hearing that? In 2010, 6 power transformer manufacturing facilities exist in the U.S., and they met only 15% of the demand. If that doesn't scare you, it's going to get worse or better, depending on if you hate America and love China and hate Trump. When hate America and hate Trump is the same thing. So let's keep going here. It's very interesting. In 2010, the average lead time between a customer's LPT order and the date of delivery ranged from 5 to 12 months for domestic producers, but we only have 6, and 6 to 16 months for producers outside the United States. However, this lead time could extend beyond 20 months and up to 5 years in extreme cases if the manufacturer has difficulty obtaining key inputs, such as bushings and other raw materials. Interesting. In fact, you want to hear something? Watching this webinar by the Virginia Transformer Georgia, I forgot what it's called, VTGC, I can't remember. And the dude was saying, let me show you on lead times, crazy. The lead times are now over 24 months, the guy was saying. It's getting worse. This is in 2025. The lead times are getting worse. I guess I didn't comment on it. But it's watched this whole video. And a lot of this is well beyond my comprehension. But I was like, damn, dude. This is crazy. All right, let's keep going here. I mean, this is today, 2025. The lead times are much worse. Right here. Another industry source added that HV bushings are usually customized for each power transformer, and there are limited bushing manufacturers in the United States. Oh, but it gets even worse. Transporting an LPT is challenging, as large dimensions and heavy weight pose unique requirements to ensure safe and efficient transportation. Can't just put it on a flatbed. So what they use here is they have a specialized railroad freight car known as a Schnabel rail car, which is used to transport extremely heavy loads to accommodate height via railways. However, there are a limited number of Schnabel cars available worldwide, with only 30 of them in North America. 30! Certain manufacturers operate a Schnabel car rental program and charge up to $2,500 per day in addition to the other applicable fees. Access to railroad has also become an issue in certain areas during the closure, damage, and removal of rail lines. The main raw material is needed to build power transformers are copper conductors, silicone, iron, steel, oil, and insulation materials. All right, nothing weird there, but the cost of these raw materials is significant, and we are talking about over 50% of the typical LPT. In fact, in 2010, 25% was just for electrical steel. Aluminum windings were used in the 1970s and 1980s when copper prices were high. However, today only copper is used due to certain issues surrounding conductivity, connection failures, and short circuits. So 40 years ago, we were putting LPTs out there with aluminum, and they have conductivity issues, short circuit issues, and there's going to have to be replaced because we had substandard parts going into it because copper is too expensive. And we're going to have to replace an aging large power transformer. It's hard to transport it. And then where does it come from? That's what I'm going to share with you now, because this is where it gets scary. The electrical steel used in a power transformer is a specialty steel tailored to produce certain magnetic properties and high permeability. Electrical steel is the most critical component that has the greatest impact on the performance of the power transformer because it provides low core loss and high permeability, which are essential to efficient and economic power transformers, all right? The price of electrical steel fluctuates over time and has been recorded as high as $280 per pound. You know what it was in 2018? About 80 cents a pound or so, and now it's at $267 per pound. So they're going to blame Trump's China tariffs on the increasing price of electrical steel, but it's like $280 per pound before Trump had the China tariffs on there. I mean, literally, it says as high as $280 per pound. You can see, according to see figure 6 for historical price variability, which I think was down here. 1 second. Right there. Yeah, so there's historical price right there. Was there electric steel, which is in red? Was there Trump tariffs on electrical steel here? No. Trump tariffs on electrical steel there? No. So freaking stupid. There are a limited number of electrical steel suppliers in the world. The availability of electrical steel supply sources worldwide is limited. According to a 2007 Department of Energy document, only 11 manufacturers in the world produced electrical steel. And we're going to take a look right here. These are the major manufacturers. You've got Japan, hey, US right there. Good, that's 15% and 4%. China had 13%. And Wuhan, with their Wuhan pandemic. That's in 2007. You know what China does now in 2025? Over 54%. Now, that can't all be attributed to electric steel, but China is most certainly a big, if not the biggest player in the electrical steel market. And what did we just say about electrical steel? It's the most critical component of a power transformer. Right there, 13% was produced in China in 2007. US had 19%. We're not even anywhere near that now. It's crazy. In 2011, China was the single biggest buyer of steel in the world, consuming over 610 metric tons of steel, almost half of the world's total steel consumption. What's the big deal, Josh? They're just buying it. That doesn't mean they're manufacturing it. The United States, in addition to an aging infrastructure, we need to have transmission expansion and upgrade to accommodate new generation connections and maintain electrical reliability. And don't forget, this was written in 2012 before the massive data center expansions, which data centers generate, or not generate, they need a huge amount of electricity. I'll show you this graph of the insanity. Historical transmission investment in the United States from 1975 to 2003. This is millions of dollars we spent, real dollars, and how much we are putting into upgrading, maintaining, and expanding our grid. It's freaking disgusting, dude. Under Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, it's freaking disgusting. And we're going to see right here, if I can find it. Hold on just a second, page 20. Yeah, right down here. It's just crazy. A large volume of LPTs were installed in the United States between the 1950s and 1970s. Although the investment remained low in the 1990s, the need for LPTs has been growing steadily. Despite its mounting demand, the U.S. has a limited domestic capacity to produce them. This is where it gets fun. In 2010, the U.S. demand for LPTs was 127,000 MVA. All right, only 15% of the nation's demand was met through domestic production. All right, let's keep going because this is going to get exciting. This is where we get exciting. Let's see here. Right there. While attributes may vary, the comparison shows distinct. Right here. The United States, a heavy reliance on foreign manufacturers, and China's abundant domestic production capacity. The U.S. has a heavy reliance on foreign manufacturers and China's abundant domestic production capacity. In 2010, although the estimated market size of the two countries was comparable, the actual production of power transformers in the United States was less than 1/5 of that of China. Are you hearing me? In 2010, although the estimated market size for the two countries was comparable, the actual production of power transformers in the U.S. was less than 1/5 of China. Well, that's good. We'll just trade. In terms of manufacturing base in 2010, 6 domestic manufacturers accounted for all product power transformers in the U.S., where in China it was over 30. They had 5-to-1 transformer manufacturers than we do. The total annual production capacity of the 6 domestic factories was approximately 50,000 MVA in 2010, far below our demand. On the contrary, China displayed a self-contained LPT market in which the vast majority of its demand was met through domestic production. For example, 3 of the largest power transformers manufacturers in China each held an annual production capacity of more than 100,000 MVA. They have 3 that can meet our need, and we have 6 that can only do 50,000. Better. Over the past few decades, the power equipment industry has witnessed a series of mergers and acquisitions, consolidation of operations to remove excess capacity and move their operations offshore. Fueled by dramatic run-up in commodity prices. They moved their operations offshore. In doing so, the firms took advantage of lower labor costs in certain countries and the rapidly growing domestic electricity demand. Offshoring, lower labor costs, and import. But capitalism, Josh, don't you know? Capitalism, it'll save us. Corporate America, they have no affiliation towards America. They just want profits. Let's see. These mergers have reduced the number of firms competing in the global market, and through them, stronger companies have emerged with increased size, economies of scale, and wider product ranges and enhanced financial strength. Yeah, but they're all going offshore and limited labor, lower labor costs. Hey, nothing to worry about. We're good. They've tried to add a couple more. We got one here. They went online in 2010 or 11 in Rincon, Georgia, right over by Savannah. They got a couple other ones, and one in Waukesha, Wisconsin, I think, and I can't remember. This is it. This is why we need tariffs, because electrical steel is coming from China. China is self-sufficient. We are not, and as such, we are in a world of hurt. Oh, but don't you know? They want our textile. They want our, we import textiles. They want our entertainment. They want our Netflix. They want our insurance, finance. Okay. Guess what? If China says we don't want your freaking entertainment because your entertainment is just disgusting, and on top of that, we can get by without your stupid finance industry, we're just going to keep our electrical steel. Good luck. What do we do? That free traders can't get this is crazy. We need tariffs on this stuff to build just like we did in the 1890s and 1897 with the Dingley tariff, to build the domestic manufacturing. And that, my friends, is just a fact. Every single other anti-tariff person said, yeah, I'm a conservative Republican just like Reagan. I believed in tariffs to protect critical domestic industry, because Reagan put 100% tariff on Japanese semiconductors. Love your thoughts. God bless. Good times.